What's up, everyone? So this is actually a highly requested subject to talk about. Now, ignore the contribution percentage because I'm currently rating with two Guardian 3 players. They're going to be kicking my ass on the contribution. Just pointed that out there. So this is going to be a quick kind of discussion. I'm going to do 2 Rift runs and kind of just discuss what you should actually look for in a Rift team. This is R5. A lot of people have been looking to improve on Rift. Now, in my opinion, you shouldn't be doing Rift until you are able to do R5. That's kind of the way I view it, because honestly, R5 is where you get the best kind of stuff, and if you don't have the runes that you want to use the grindstones on, what's the point of getting the grindstones in the first place? So you should get the runes first, and then you're going to want to improve on those runes. So what kind of teams are you going to want to build? Well, it's different for everyone. You'll see on my team that I do have Faye. I also have Chasoon, Lisa, and Dias. Not everyone has those, but there are some workarounds. You can use Darien for Dias. You can actually have some different types of healers. You'll notice that Noxier, I believe, he does not run Chasoon. He only runs Bella Dion and Colleen for healers. So only 2 healers, and they're not actually particularly super strong heals either, but they're fast enough to the point where they can actually do all of the healing for him. So you want to make sure that your monsters are super fast. Now, obviously, you're going to have to work with the team that you're given, more or less, and you're going to want to make sure that you have attack break. There are 4 debuffs, I would say, 4 main debuffs that you're going to want to run. Now, this run is a little bit of a screw up for me, but that's okay. 4 main debuffs, and that is defense break, heal block, attack break, and slowness. The glancing hit is a bonus that you get with Lisa and with Chasoon. So that one just helps a ton, but not as necessary, of course. But the slowness, the boss is so fast, having that slowness is going to help a ton. So when making these types of teams, it's kind of a balance between damage and having enough support. So right now I got screwed and my Faye died. You're gonna see my damage is just gonna drop incredibly, but I have enough assist to at least keep me up to par with Noxier. Foi has crazy freaking runes, so obviously he's just going to take the #1 spot and keep it. He can have it. But yeah, those 4 main debuffs you absolutely have to have. You need attack break because the boss will absolutely destroy you if you don't have attack break. You need the defense break because you're not going to do any damage if you don't have the defense break, and you need to do a lot of damage. You're not going to get a lot of turns in for the heals. The boss is just going to keep doing a ton of damage, and he's just going to keep putting on debuffs if you don't have slowness. And then the heal block, the boss is going to heal a ton if you don't have heal block. So you need those 4. Also, just one thing, if you have branding, bring it, because the branding effect is super convenient. I believe it's 25% bonus damage. It is super helpful. And honestly, I absolutely love it. So if you have it, definitely run that. Ooh, that is definitely what I needed. Alright. So that's the bonus of running Rift 5 over like Rift 4 and stuff. You can actually get legendary grindstones and legendary enchantment gems. So highly suggested that you run those. Also, when you're coming up with your teams, organize with what you have with the other members. I'm running only 30% resistance. I could run different ones, but you'll notice that we run defense and crit rate. Also, you might want to run speed if you guys don't all have the speed up to par. But honestly, on all your monsters, you're definitely going to want to run, I would say, around 200 speed. If you can't get that, at least 150 speed for your nukers. But all of your support monsters should be 200. You'll notice that Foi is definitely running that type of setup. Crazy ass runes. But you'll see some of his nukers are all around, well, this guy's a little bit slow, but you'll notice that his nukers are up to that 150 speed type deal, more or less, okay? So definitely that's around what you want. And on top of that, you'll notice that he's running 1 healer, solo healer, because he's fast enough. The main gist of it is that you run attack break. You'll notice that we actually have, every single one of us is running at least 2 monsters that can land attack break. Now, one of the things about Foi's attack team is that he's actually running Ardella. Ardella is actually something that I really want to build and go over because this first skill and the damage just for her is super nice. It's actually similar to Faye that I run, but she also does a lot of damage and also puts on harmful effects on the first. So definitely something that I might be building in the future. If you guys are kind of trying to look for an attack monster build for Rift, Ardella is actually looking quite good. Yeah, see, look at this. So attack break and attack break. We go over to Noxier's team. We have attack break and attack break. We go over to my team, attack break and attack break. So we're all running at least 2 attack break monsters, and that's because out of all of the debuffs, I would have to say attack break is the most important. If we had to only pick one debuff for the entire raid, well, it'd be pretty much impossible at that point. But if we only had to pick one debuff, it would have to be attack break. Without attack break, the boss is going to absolutely wipe you. So again, you're going to want to put on some attack break monsters, something like Colleen on the first skill or Ardella. Any type of monster that does attack break on the first skill. Run some revenge runes. Revenge procs are free hits in Rift. Remember that. So if we get some type of revenge here, I didn't get one, but you'll see that if Lisa would have done a revenge there, this counter on the right would not go up, but she still got her first hit in, right? She put the glancing hit on. Now imagine if you did that with someone like Colleen that puts on attack break. So just to show you guys, let's look. We got revenge runes. This, not quite revenge runes, but that's okay. Revenge runes. More revenge runes. And then endure runes. He just has some really crazy endure runes too. And then we've got more revenge. Nemesis, more revenge, and then focus. Okay, and then we go over to me. Sorry, we got revenge, more revenge, and more revenge. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit difficult. The last 25% of the boss's HP is something that is a little bit kind of complicated. Okay, so to put it kind of bluntly, the last 25% of the HP isn't actually really 25% of the boss's HP. It doesn't really make sense, but if you think about it this way, over time, every time he loses 25% of his HP, the stats go up, okay? So he's going to get more HP, more attack, you know, all that type of stuff. You're also going to make sure you don't put on any any buffs. The more buffs you put and the more that he takes, the stronger attack that he gets. That's a very, very important thing to know, okay? So when you put on like attack buff, defense buff, shields, all that type of stuff, and he removes it, well, that's only going to contribute to the amount of attack power that he gets. He's going to take that and he's going to get way more attack. That's a problem. That actually increases the chances of you dying. So the more buffs you bring, the more chance you have of dying. Also, the last 25% of his HP, that 25% of his HP is actually more HP than the first 25% of his HP, etc., etc., okay? So that being said, you're going to make sure, you need to make sure that you do survive that last 25% because it's more HP, it's got higher attack buff, right, like, or attack power. He does a lot of damage. If you don't have any attack break on when he hits you in the last 25% of his HP, he's going to absolutely destroy you. He will wipe your entire team. He one-shots my Chasoon, my Dias, my Bella, you know, you could throw, maybe not one-shots him, but if he has absolutely no buffs on, and I don't have full HP, he will one-shot almost every single one of my monsters. It is absolutely crazy. He also hits like 8 times when he targets the front line, and if you don't have attack buff or if you don't have the attack break on, he hits for like 2k per hit. So he just absolutely obliterates the entire front line. He'll hit them for like 20k. Just the first hit. Just one hit. That's not to mention he has incredible speed, and he might finish it off with maybe this Rageful Roar, where he basically absorbs all the buffs and then stuns everyone. Then you can't heal, and that's where it becomes a problem. So when you run these types of runs, you got to make sure you run someone to run the attack break and someone to run a heal block. Also, having one person or two people have consistent defense break, someone on the front line to revenge, like Bella Dion. You'll notice that we all actually are doing it, which is why our runs are so fast. I got revenge runes on Bella, he's got revenge runes on Darian, and then he's got not revenge runes, but just at least a Bella Dion to run it. So that's why we got so much consistent defense break. So we're always just running a ton of damage, just throwing in a ton of DPS on the defense break. We also had Noxier running the Mimir, the light barbaric king, for quite a while. So he was running a brand effect, which is also very nice to have. There are a few monsters out there that do have the brand effect that you could potentially run, and it actually increases the damage by quite a bit. It increases my damage third skill 10k per hit, so it goes up from about 120 to 160k damage, which is quite a bit. I mean, I'm just saying, it is pretty incredible. So that's, I mean, it's not really an explanation as much as I would like to go in depth, but that's just kind of like the gist of it. You want to run a lot of revenge runes. You want to run a lot of debuffs, right? You don't want to run a bunch of buffs. You don't want buffs. So stuff like Emma, no go. Stuff like the Windharg, he seems good. He seems okay. But again, he buffs, and that's a problem. And that's where he kind of just lacks a little bit. He buffs. You don't want the buffs. The only buff I would say you would ever want to bring is the attack buff. And that's just to put on more damage and make things go faster. You'll notice that we're running, I believe, 2 to 3 minute teams. I'm not quite sure. I haven't timed it yet. But it's pretty fast R5 runs, pretty consistent. And as long as you just bring a ton of damage, but stuff to keep you consistent. You see right there, we revenged and we put on heal block and attack break, and those were free hits. They did not go towards the counter. The Rageful Roar is something you got to be careful with. So if you run a super fast team with like Hua and stuff like that, the more he does this Rageful Roar, the more likely he is to just absolutely wipe your team in the last 25% of his HP. So balance it out. Make sure that you guys don't run too many buffs. Make sure you guys all contribute to the debuffs. So you'll notice that Foi is just on another level, so ignore that. You'll notice that we're all moderately around the same percentage for the debuffs, and that's because we all run similar setups. So you see this, yeah, we're pretty much neck and neck, Noxier and I, and then Faj is way up there. So, and then same with the damage, we're like neck and neck, and we've got balanced teams, right? So balance it out with the teammates. It's kind of hard to find a team to do it consistently with because you're just going off with so many different players. So that's why they give you these new decks to just kind of try out different teams. Spend like the first 2 or 3 runs trying to figure out a team that works with the current players you're running it with. Just because you have one really nice team doesn't mean that you'll actually get that to work with the next set of players that you actually play with. So just try it out. Try out new teams, and as always, make sure you bring a cleanser. If you don't bring a cleanser, you're gonna get absolutely destroyed by the debuffs. Because one thing that not a lot of people know, the debuffs, they only have a % chance to activate for the boss. Okay, so the boss only has a small percentage to land his own debuffs on you. But as his HP goes down, that % increases. And during the last 25% of his HP, it's actually almost 100% chance. So you're going to get a ton on there. So just be careful. Make sure you got someone that has his first skill running the attack break, and you guys should be solid to run some Rift 5. Hope to see you guys out there. If you guys want to run some Rift 5 runs with me, just shoot me a message, and I'll be down to run some runs. Alright guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you guys would like to see more endgame content. I really do want to do some more endgame content and reach out, maybe do some mid-game too, so I could follow you guys with your progression. And yeah, so let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys soon. Ooh. Wait, let's just make sure that this team works. Yep, okay, we finished it. Whew, fingers crossed. Alright guys, I will see you all next time. Stay awesome.